Hello, I'm back once again, and today is Friday, so it's time for Stormworks. Now, I did have to rush a little bit to get here, so that does mean that I still have to set some things up. So yeah, you'll see what I mean. Especially if I do this. It's a black screen, and the camera says that NVIDIA broadcast cannot find anything. If it's switched to OBS virtual camera, there we go, there I am. If I then pick up Stormworks, I'm gonna be there as well. There we go. Everything's solved once again. We're still doing well. But yeah, the reason I had to hurry a little bit was because I wasn't home the entire day. I actually spent most of the day just on the road. Well, technically on the road on the tracks. I just basically spent the entire day going by train. And it was... the main reason why were two things. First of all, there was an older train that is brought back into service for a couple years actually. And yeah, we wanted to go into that, but it only goes in the morning during rush hours. So I had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. That was fun. So yeah, I'm running on a couple hours of sleep here. I'm not sure if that's that good, but I'm managing to run on a couple hours of sleep. I'm doing it. It's fine. But yeah. And also because I had to go to IKEA to get stuff, to get some supplies such as teacups and spoons, because those magically disappeared for some reason. We still don't know how they got lost, but they got lost. Wait, hold on. Where is my chat? I can see it. If I refresh, do I get the chat in here? I see the messages in chat, but I cannot read them because they're... oh, there we go. Nice. IKEA is a lot of fun to walk around. But yeah. I need to go through my pieces of paper as well for the... let's see. Where do I have that piece of paper? Where do I have the piece of paper that tells me... is it not this? Is it this piece? No. I'm specifically looking for the piece of paper that has the... let's see, not there. Yeah, well, if I play with people, if I put Stormworks with people, I'd much rather do it like off stream because it does take some coordination and it's often laggy. Or do I still have it on here? Is it still on here? No, it's not. Is it not on here? Hold on. Did I lose the tally marks with... these are some slight technical difficulties here that I'm facing. No, that's not it. This is stapled together, so it's definitely not in here. It's not in here. It's not this one. It's not this one. Not this one either. No. No. No, no, and that's the centered project. It has to be on this one then, still. At least I hope so, otherwise I lost all the tally marks for my drinking stuff. Like where did it go? I could move a couple of pages to my trash can, but if one of them is in the is it, then I'm gonna be slightly annoyed at myself. This one isn't it. This one isn't it. This one isn't it either. And this one isn't it either. Huh. That is slightly worrying that I managed to lose that one. I do have to do something about that back. I now realize how bad it looks. This piece of paper can go away as well. No, it wasn't one of these. Like, how can I lose such a vital thing? There's a list still to complete at some point. This is schedule. Like, I ripped the pages off, so... Heh. Like, this is just... I don't know... Yeah, I know I'm still streaming. I'm just looking for something. I had a piece of paper where I had a bunch of tally marks for the drinking stuff. But I, for some reason, pretty much lost it. It was one piece of paper. And I have a bunch of pieces of paper here. Like, this is not it. This is entirely different. This is a project I wanted to do myself. There's a lot of pages. Not in here either. Wow. Like, I had it here a couple days ago, then I cleaned up. That's why you don't clean your stuff up. Or at least if you clean your stuff, I don't know why I still have this piece of paper here. This is entirely useless. It's not it either. It's not it either. That's Zero Valley stuff. That's a 3D printing project. That's signal, brain signal stuff. Some more Stormworks, some more Zero Valley. Compilation stuff to make at some point. Yeah, I lost it completely. Where's my pencil? Is everything just magically going away now? I lost my... Where did my pencil go now? Like, seriously, how did this happen? I lose my piece of paper and my pencil. And because we're going to be moving pretty soon, there is a Or is it this? No, this is just the instruction of a power supply. That is weird. I'll put all the pages that are trash as well because... Check these then. I have more pieces of paper here. This one is trash. This one is indeed trash. More trash. More trash. Make sure there are no pages stuck together. More trash as well. Some more trash. It's not in here. What? Oh well. I guess I'll have to make a new one. Oh wait, where did my pencil go? I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Because we're moving, I've almost all my stuff, like my supplies, are in boxes. That's the problem. A lot of it's in boxes. I do have a pencil case here. I can't just grab another pencil. Because like over 4 years ago when I had my exams, you were only allowed to bring a see-through pencil case. Otherwise you were not otherwise cheating would be too easy. Like if you bring a closed pencil case, you open it slightly, you can cheat, but I have a clear one. Don't know how well this will show up on stream, but I have clear, and this clear one actually got me pretty much through it because I can put all my stuff in there. As opposed to all the other ones that just put it... Yeah, they just put it in there. Alright, I think we had 86. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 15. Please stand by while I'll make 86 plus 9 tally marks. 95 tally marks real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 30. That's 40. 50. 60. 70. 80, and then we have 86 of them. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're back. Let's get the show on the road. Let's first focus on making this back nice again, because this back just looks weird. Like I'm fine with the front here. For this cruise ship, but I'm not fine with the back end. I'm just gonna be deleting all of this. I'm gonna be making my own edge around here. Which is a lot of turning symmetry mode on and pressing going back a lot. Because symmetry mode is a thing I often forget. But I'm making it Titanic. I'm not really gonna do that because I'm not really making realistic things. Like my mind just cannot wrap around the fact that you don't need those in Stormworks. If I now do ones, how will this look? Wait, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3. Yes, I did it. I did it correctly. 2, 3. This is 2, 3, 4. Then we do ones, and then we realize it doesn't fit by 2, so we apply these 2 to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 5 here, which is bad. So that means that this must become 1 wider. This is still 5. If I then do this, it becomes 4. Yay, we now have a rounded rear end. I hope I can actually connect this up. And how much this is? 11. Ooh, that might get me into trouble here. That might get me into trouble. Like, it's this part that kind of messes it up. The 7 jets all being powered by this massive behemoth of an engine. And I don't think it's anything connected at all. No. I really left the ship in a mess last time. Pyramids. More suffering with pyramids today. Slightly that my PC is just lagging. But I'm not gonna bother with it. Actually, let's remove this entire edge. There we go. Rotation labels off. I can figure out the rotation on my own. I just have to just gonna be able to see, because I know I have to use the J, K, and L keys to move stuff. Like this general you move stuff around keys, or you rotate stuff. So I just spam them to get the right orientation instead of looking at what I have to do. Boom. That's done. Now to connect it nicely. First of all, we remove this. We put this in here. Can I build it up to just this area? Like that. There we go. Figured it out again. I'm just going to remove all of this, and I'm just going to try and connect it as best as I can. Massive gaping hole in the hull. Check. Let me grab a 2x2 pyramid, because that is the one that fits perfectly in here. If this dune... There we go. Problem now is this one. Solved it. Now the real problem is this goes down here, which means we have another one of these. But we're also coming from this end here. This is a problem that I expect to face. Because on one hand it is mostly solvable with this. I guess I can do it like this, and then... Are we on the same height here? We are. Aha. Alright, this will do. This will do. It means I'm gonna grab a drink, because there were some drinks while on the road. Of course, I didn't have a drink with me, so I had to buy a drink. Luckily, there were some on sale, so I bought 15... No, not 15, 18... Like one of those juice boxes. Because, you know, you have to stay hydrated. Especially if you're walking around a lot. Sitting in trains. Like, even when I crossed the border. Like, I went to Germany, but... for another special train that we didn't even get to travel on because... we missed it. And we couldn't be bothered with waiting. At all. We were just like, well, we're done. We were just done with it for the day. Then I went to IKEA because IKEA is always a solution. Though because of time constraints, with the friend I was traveling with needed to do something else, and I needed to do this. We eventually decided to just go. Just after IKEA, we went straight home. I need one more. Come on, I need one more in that direction. No, I don't need that many more. I just need to do this. There we go. And then, of course... There we go. Like, it all went well here, and then it just went off course immediately. This will increase the surface area of the boat, which means it will float better at the rear. If we want to slap a lot of fuel there. There we go. Alright, let's first do this one. Where are those 2x2s? They are... here? Well, let me casually reshape my entire hull here. Or at least the rear end of it. Make it look a lot better. Got a little bit of lag. Alrighty then, we have this. There we go. Made it look a lot more like an actual boat. I'm gonna put this here and this entire floor, so this can remain flat. No, this is only 2. There we go. Then the rotation, pull that in, and boom. Fix the rear end where it looked the worst, and now it only looks bad at the bottom and complicated. Now it looks a lot nicer here and gives you a lot more space to walk. And because one juice box is basically just as much as a glass of water, one box counts as one towards the drinking goal, which now only leaves with 76 more glasses of water to drink. This thing will not run at all. I guess I could put stairs here and stairs here. In my head, it makes sense to put the stairs back here. But it was fun traveling by train once again, because it's been a while since I've done that. Also, I won't be able to do it for all that much longer because the student pass that I'm using, because the Dutch government got wise and allows... Oh boy, I'm not gonna make that one. Ooh, I made it. They basically give you a potentially free student pass for all public transport, either throughout the weekend or throughout the week. So you either have the weekends available with free public transport, or it is the weekdays. You have the choice. It all depends on if you go to school during if you're already living on your own, or if you're still living with your parents. So do you travel from work back home every day, or do you travel from school back home to visit your parents every weekend. And me, being the student that I am, went for the weekdays, of course, because I am not at home. I am living with my mom, so that's that. And the reason I say it's potentially free because it depends on if you finish your course. Like over time you accumulate debt. Like that is well known. Because over time you accumulate some debt. It just works that way, and once you're finished, they will transfer the debt into a gift. Which means that all of a sudden all the money that they owed you, or that you owed them, disappears into thin air. You do not owe them anything anymore. That is still one of the best things, in my opinion, about how the Dutch do their school stuff. You can as long as you finish your course within, I think it's a period of... that works as well. As long as you finish your course within a period of 8 years, it's free. The public transport is completely free. But you do have to finish it within those 8 years, otherwise you're going to suffer from... In my case, would I have to pay 12,000 back if I actually failed? Which luckily I didn't, because now I get to basically keep the money. Because the government also gives you money to pay for school. To make sure that, well, even if you... So you don't have to get a job. And you can actually kind of live either on your own or with somebody else without all too much trouble. Yeah. So I'm basically debt free. Of course, everything still has to be actually put through. And it is just Stream Boo. We got another one. Another likely ban evader. Which you guys probably don't see because it says restricted. And even I'm washing my hands because it kind of still smelled like rabbit poo, because I do clean it daily, but he also does it next to his sort of litter box thing. So I kind of want to get rid of the smell. I have some hand sanitizer in my room. Let me in the meantime ban somebody and report them. Account created yesterday. Report. Spam, scam bots are tampering. Scam. Selling views. Then I'm gonna put that in there. Verify it's filled in truthfully. Block them as well. Ban them. Completely banned. Can I delete the message? No, I guess it's in there, but it's banned. Like, they are now completely banned. Their message is invisible. We had that one. We keep having them once a stream, and it's getting annoying, but I keep reporting them because even though I might be the only one doing it, At least I'm doing my part in keeping Twitch a little bit safer and prevent people from making a grave mistake. The grave mistake being, oh come on. The grave mistake being buying viewers. Like, you don't go around buying viewers. That's just something you don't do. Right, this is exhaust, that is exhaust. I don't have fuel yet. Where is the fuel? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I don't want people to make the mistake of buying viewers and then getting banned because, well, they violated their terms of service. And in case you didn't know, of course that results in a ban. Like, if you think breaking the rules and still expecting people to be like, oh yeah, well, alright, well, we won't give you consequences. If you expect that from a multi-billion... Is it multi-billion? Well, it's part of Amazon, I think. At least it runs on Amazon servers. So I assume it's part of a multi-billion dollar corporation. They don't like all that. They don't like that all that much. You start tampering with their numbers. Are there pipes in here? Actually, no. Yeah, if you want to get big on Twitch, don't do it through buying viewers. Do it through doing what you like. Like, do what seems fun to you and keep doing that until people start watching. Like, just keep it going. Don't stop until you've reached your goal. And yes, it will be tough. Like, I've at some point struggled with it a lot, where I was like, yeah, I'm doing the same thing over and over again, or I keep getting bad results. If you in the stream summary, you get off after each stream. Oh come on! I've had SimTree mode turned off again. But those bad numbers are often followed by growth. And it was for me a little bit of a hurdle to realize that if I want to see more growth, I have to put in more effort. Because you put in a set amount of effort, you get a set amount of results. And after a while, you start to plateau. It starts to, your growth starts to flatten out a little bit. You'll lose your motivation. And if you quit there, you'll never make it. But if you think, alright, well, it's not going as well as before. What could that be? What could have made that situation happen, actually? They start to look at it and realize, well, I might do some longer streams. In my case, that's the solution. If I stream for 2.5 hours or 3 instead of exactly 2 and then cut it off, I get more results. I get more viewers, I get more chat messages, I just overall get more stuff. Because I'm more online. Which means I have more of a chance to make Twitch money. They like that. Their algorithm will now prefer me. Even though I don't think it does at all. Because why would it prefer me? It's an algorithm. And apparently, over the last years, they've gotten really good at messing those up. Or recommending entirely the wrong stuff. Yeah. Also, in other news, for anybody who is religious or interested in religion, will probably know this already, but new pope. You know, I think a couple weeks ago, the old one sadly passed away, and now they get a new one. Now we got a new one. And I have a new pope to basically be the head of a religion. One of, if not the most powerful religion we have. Throttle fuel. Where's the fuel throttle? There. There's air. RPS comes off the flywheel. Throttle in and a button. Yeah, because I have to wake up really early to go by train, I basically get 2.5 hours of sleep. So I will probably be tired. Very tired. If even though I was just talking about streaming for longer periods, if I cut this one a little bit short, it is because I'm running out of energy to keep myself awake. And streaming, of course, because streaming does take some time, some energy. And that's something you can just do. You have to actually put effort into it. Make it at least seem interesting. And if I just put a throttle here, a instrument panel, this will give me the air, the fuel, throttle position. Yeah. And I think we're going for the other. Oh, nope. This one will probably fuel and then battery temperatures as well. Just turning on the throttle. Now I'm going to add the switch box, which will immediately go to this. Let's first get this rudimentary setup going. With this being the button and this being throttle in. Now this one will have a max value of, let's do 20 for the first little bit. Let's get rid of this push to toggle because we're just using a toggle. And otherwise it'll just be annoying. Because then only every other turn, at least every other starting attempt will work. And we follow next to it. Amazing. Whee! Of course it won't start yet. Hold on. Hold on, I realized why it won't start. For now, some rudiment report ends. Now we get our air, we get our fuel, we'll get a nice amount of coolant. Well, all those starters. And we're still not starting. Oh my, it actually works. I don't even need the electric motor. You don't even need it, it already works. It just takes a while to start up. You can turn the key and it's because the flywheel was there. So if we go down, this is not connected at all. This is not connected. Well, because that is not necessary. But it technically just works. You just put in, you just throttle it up. Then I guess you just mess around with your clutch. Hey, it is kind of done now. The engine runs. I'm gonna encase this room in windows. Even though it is still visible, you will not be able to reach it in any way, shape, or form. And it fits perfectly. Ooh, that's good. Alright, I guess I'll put a room here with, if I do this correctly, an entire wall of circuit breakers behind me. This should probably not be enough. Right, now let's relay all the electrical connections in one simple trick. I just had to remove all of them. And then connect to the back of these. There we go. Now, all of these do something, but let me actually make a cut because we have 1, 2, 3. So technically I need 3 more. There we go. No, let's actually get our throttle lever in there. Let's go from here to all the necessary ones. Then connect this one to our clutch. And in theory, I should probably connect them first. Where's the encoder overload as soon as I spawn this massive behemoth of a ship? You're not connected. Oh, boo-hoo, it's not my problem. Somehow managed to land underneath. Oh. Yep. Might be smart to add doors to the room with a massive switch panel. No, symmetry mode. This time I caught myself. I don't need sliding doors this time. Wait, did I put it at the top one that is the one that is not connected to the grid yet? Yeah. Probably first connect all these up as well. I also talked about the moving and everything with my mom, and she's actually said that if the moving is happening on, let's say, a weekend, then there's a very good chance that... What? Oh, I know what's the problem. I know the problem is. Let me quickly go in here. Let me grab this and then put it here. But if we move during the weekend, then I might be able to do my Friday stream and then just move during the weekend. I'm stuck inside of it. There we go. Because that would mean that I could stream on Friday and then immediately afterwards, like day after that during the weekend, move, have everything set up back for Wednesday, and continue Wednesday like nothing ever happened. Let's turn the panel on. Should start. I really have to fight to keep my eyes open. It's already a decent pace. How's the fuel doing? Yeah, every gulp does consume a lot of fuel, but then again, ships are known to consume a lot of fuel. Up. Well, I'll tell you what's up. It is the ceiling. That is what's up. If you ask me what's down, it's the floor, because that is indeed what's down. Right, how is the moving actually? Not bad. Well, pretty tired. Slept like 2 hours today. Guess I had to go by train. It was a special train, so wanted to be on there. Had to leave very early in the morning, and now I'm tired. Yay. Ouch. But at least it's Friday. At least it's Friday, it's the end of the week. Weekend's here. Right. Like, I'm currently kind of in between a study and a job, but right now, I am enjoying the fact that I don't have to wake up early. Then the one time I have to wake up early, I'm suffering. Because my sleep schedule's all over the place. I guess with the jets I can include the gearbox, although I'm not sure if I need the gearbox powered in any way, shape, or form. So that means accessories. Let's actually flip this on and this one on if they are connected to something, so I can easily see what's connected to what. Engine controls. Engine controls, which will be... Technically this clutch is not necessary anymore. I do need another instrument panel though. I'm gonna call this one air. Now I've been playing this game, well I have a total of I think over 1150 hours, and I've been playing this since before 1.0. This one will be fuel, which this goes from 0, but this goes to 0.5 because you have it. And then go to 2. And then we simply have battery. 0 to 1, channel 3. That 706 is not too bad. I need my 4 dials, which I basically have made a lot of combinations for these instrument panels. I haven't changed my fuel yet from 0 to I think 15,000 on channel 4. Yeah, basically have all this. We connected with a composite signal, this one in signal. And then channel 1 is the air, channel 2 is the fuel, channel 3 was the battery level. And then channel 4 here. Wait, I don't need this system right now for the battery. Well, that is not a stupid question, actually. I struggle with that as well. Well, the better fuel economy is you could run less RPS on your engine, just run it a little bit slower and potentially add a gearbox to it. If you're willing to sacrifice speed or torque, or one of them, depending on if you point it towards or away from the engine. And I can actually, like, I had to write that down. I still look at it to know where to aim the engine. If I can find the piece of paper that I have here. I have the piece of paper. If you're messing with gearboxes and you aim it towards the engine, like the arrows on the gearbox aim towards the engine, then you multiply your RPS but divide your torque. And if you point it away from the engine, you divide your RPS and you multiply by torque. You multiply your torque. It is just... You can use a gearbox, run less RPS. Weirdly enough, making your engine bigger could help. But it also depends on what you're using. If you are using those standard engines, then going modular will give you a lot more power and a lot more fuel efficiency. Well, we'll see how much this one drinks now. I do have to get the RPS and the temperature in on this one as well. This takes a while to start up. Because this massive chonker of a flywheel. Did he put the throttle up at least? Right now, if I put it like 8 to 10 RPS is generally the sweet spot you want to be in. But this one doesn't really sip a lot of fuel right now. But as you can see, these are kind of bouncing up and down. Because that's like a modular engine can give you greater efficiency, but they are a little bit, they require a little bit more messing with. Like I made this engine controller a while ago based off a based off some stuff from Mr. N Jersey when he was still active. Yeah, that might be because they're still... Yeah, once you put it under load, like once you actually start spinning wheels, propellers, jets, that's when the fuel consumption happens. Otherwise, it just sips fuel very gently. But I should put this number right here. And this should be 0. And I should probably make this number 0.3. So it goes a lot slower, but this number should probably remain like this. Like I can show you that as well if I put a throttle like quick and dirty, just put it down here, connect to the clutch here, and then very easily connect it to this one. And I can't forget to make it basic on. The reason it makes such a massive breaker panel is because if you put a lot of boat stuff, a lot of electricity on one thing, it will start prioritizing. Boom, we're in. All right, let's restart this engine. Again, this will take a while because I chose to remove the electric motor. Like there used to be a medium one in there, but with 6 starters, it does eventually get going. Yes, with like I'm always open for questions. It's basically with Stormworks, like the learning curve can be so steep. Ah, there we go, we're started. That it's a lot easier to just ask somebody for help. Yeah, maybe also, yeah, possibly removing weight from the ship. To lighten the load on the engine. So it's a tanker, so it just has to move it. It has to move a lot of weight. Okay, now gently sip stuff. Yeah. Like, it just sips fuel, right? It's happily at 10, but now put some load on it, and it suddenly sips liters. Like, it just consumes. Because I put it under load. A 5x5 engine does probably use a bit more fuel, but you have to use a lot less of it. I'm not sure how many cylinders you have in your 3x3 engine. Because if you have a lot of cylinders in your 3x3, then replacing it with a couple 5x5 will give you a lot more power. So you could get a lot higher speed. Which means you can then start a 3-cylinder 5x5 or 3x3. Because if you have a 3-cylinder 3x3, then it's not worth going for the upgrade. But if you only have a 3-cylinder... Yeah, if you have a 3-cylinder 3x3, then I don't think it would be worth upgrading to a 5x5. Of course, you can try. It is... Even though a solution seems incredibly dumb and unlikely to work, trying... I would recommend making a second version. I've learned this from actual engineering. If somebody asks, can I get a change done? Always make a second file. Because if they aren't happy with it, they have to manually change everything back. But if you have saved a copy of what was there at the time, then you can kind of say, immediately, like, oh, you didn't want that. You wanted what was there already. Well, here you go. We still had it in storage because we knew you'd change your mind. Yeah, I don't often do that. Alright, let's first get the RPS in here from 0 to 100. Engine temp. Oh, this is going to be an annoying one for modular engines. Fluids. That's another tick of the list of drink. Also goes from 0 to 100. Channel 2, I guess. What else do I need? What else would be useful information to have at your engine? See, already improvement. Also, let me put a catalytic converter in there because sound. And of course, symmetry mode is off. Do not question. I've learned to not question software. Questioning software only makes your brain hurt. That's why I became a mechanical engineer, so I can just deal with actual materials instead of having to deal with software-related things. Seeing if something mechanical is broken, it's a lot more visible than if a piece of code is broken. Because if a mechanical thing is broken, you just look at where things are either broken off, or things are not where they are supposed to be, or fluids are mixing, or things are extra glittery. Because metal shavings, then that's a lot easier than trying to look for one misspelled word. So one thing tries to reference to something that is misspelled, so it doesn't see that as the same thing. So all your code goes out the window because one thing's missing. I think I should actually put a speed in there. Speed going from 0, I guess I was going to put it to 100. And then I guess we do an indicator here for low fuel. Channel 4. So we have three buttons, one indicator. Luckily, I have that one pre-made because as soon as you start doing instrument panels, you'll start running into the problem of, now that I'm here, I need this many of these and one of those, like 3 dials and 1 indicator. You make that one, a basic one that's non-specific to anything, and then you end up with a bajillion if I scroll down a little bit, a bajillion self-made microcontrollers. A lot of them are just a different combination for instrument panels. Three buttons, one indicator. 3 dials, one indicator. I grabbed the wrong one. There we go. 3, 4. Oh, channel 1 is the indicator. So channel 1, 2, 3. Keeping channels in check is also a good thing. 4. So channel 1 is a low fuel. Of course, I'm gonna make this one I'm gonna adapt this one because channel 1 needs to be from also a number, I think. Number less than, boom, boom, boom. Constant number. This needs to remain stable. Or if I'm gonna pull this from here, I could just say if we have 10% fuel left, so function. So if x divided by 100, so now you have 1%, and we do it times 10. I could also, if divided by x, oh no, wait, it changes. Oh, it changes. Yes. So this one won't work. You do need a constant number. Because I realized, right? This number changes. It goes down. So if I keep changing it to 10% of what's going down, it doesn't work. Because you keep... Your fuel light will go on later and later and later and will never turn on. Because it's never below the 10%. So I'm just gonna grab 15... Well, it's 15,000. So if I have less than 1,500... Start screaming at me. See channel 1, I can now go into here. And it measures that, and as soon as it's too low, a light starts to go, light turns on. Panic mode, we have to refuel the ship. Or we'll be stranded. Make sure to put my... How full is my phone? 26%. Let me actually charge my phone real quick. No, I didn't ask you anything, Google. Fuck off. Alright, let me... Like, charging my phone is a little bit more tricky because I installed a dust cover on it. So my charging port is kind of obscured by that. Channel 2 is... Channel 2 is RPS. So channel 2 reads the RPS from the flywheel. Channel 3 reads the temperature, so we need channel 3 to be different. Wait, don't we already have these, or is it just this one? Yeah, just that one. Then I do make another composite. These have the same, so we need a different one as opposed to that one. So we need a channel 3. 3 needs to become a composite. It needs to read me a number from channel 3. So now it reads a channel from number 3 and outputs it on 3, and that gives the engine temp. And the speed will come from linear speed sensor. But I'm kind of surprised by how little people actually know how to use modular engines. Like, once you figure them out, they're stupidly easy. The trick is half the fuel. And don't go above 1. Hello. Oh.
Wrong button.
Hello. Yeah, that wasn't it. Leaving the call isn't it the wrong button if you just joined? Yes, I did travel by that a lot today.
I have arrived.
I did travel a lot by that because they put an old train back into service again.
Ja, de koploper, of niet?
No.
Of nee, de hondenkop.
Apenkop. That's Apenkop, the mat 64. Hondenkop is the mat 54. It's 10-year difference in model. If you cannot tell, I'm a trainer.
No, I did mean the one I meant, so I didn't misspoke, but
the one that it is actually gonna drive for the next 2 years. Because they're replacing...
Oh wait, they're just incredibly bloody similar.
They are incredibly bloody similar, yeah. Once you notice
that's that's probably why I was mistaken.
Yeah, I used to mistake in that a lot as well. I think I got my signals confused.
Well, I'm back.
Yeah. How was the driving?
Driving was fun. We did a total of probably a little less than 2,500 kilometers.
Nice.
In 6 days? Or 6 or 7 days. With 1 day break where a couple of days where we didn't really move. Well, actually, I think there's only 1 day that we didn't move. Yeah, I think so.
Right, see you at some point. Hopefully the tips helped. I have to help somebody with Stormworks.
Yeah. As you do.
Yes.
Yeah, so what kind of sucked, well, when we were in Austria, we went to like one of the highest mountains there, the Gulls, something or another. It's a weird name. Well, it's German, so that's probably what makes it weird.
Yeah, German is indeed weird.
Let me try to pronounce this once I see the name again. No, it's later.
Like, I was in Germany as well today.
Oh.
Only for a couple of hours, and it was just across the border.
The Glockner. Yeah, that's
sounds like you're choking on something.
Yeah. But it was 2,504 meters high. The top, like the not per se the top, but like the crossing point, I guess. Like the highest you go by road. Let's put it that way. but it was all misty,
Ooh,
so we couldn't see more than 40 meters.
fog lights, go.
Yeah, but it kind of sucked because you drove all the way up there, you paid a toll to get there, and then you can't see shit.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But hey. At least it was fun to go with my dad across Europe.
I mean, my dad is across Europe.
Okay, yeah, different reasons, Jules, different context.
Yes, but you went with your dad across Europe. My dad is across. They're both
Yeah, again.
both crossed Europe.
Yeah, but the one didn't leave. The one came back.
Sadly. Well, mine also comes back occasionally.
Yeah.
I think
Kinda.
when was he here last time? It was either last week or the week before that. Let me pull it
It
up.
wasn't long ago because I remember you telling me about it.
Last week, actually.
Right.
He was here last week because then we pulled the engine out of a car.
Oh, of the
Of the Volkswagen.
ponton.
Yes. And turns out a lot more things are rusty than expected. We keep finding holes.
In the engine block, or
Some parts, yeah, we did find in the intake manifold a hole.
oh.
It was just in the heater tube though, so it would still function, but you will not have heat.
Yeah, but can you prop weld it?
No. This hole is not fixable.
How big is this the hole?
I don't have a picture of it, but it is probably around either one finger or a pinky sized hole. But I think
seems
it's
prop weldable.
Yeah, but it's a small tube, so
Well,
you do run the
then
risk of completely blocking it off.
then put tube over tube and weld that together. Just a small piece of tube.
It's in a turn, so it's in a corner.
Yeah, okay. It makes it more difficult, but it's still possible.
Yeah, but
I admit it's difficult, but
it is out. I can start working on it. We did notice it leaked oil, of course.
well, yeah, it has been sitting still for 20 years. What do you expect?
Well, my dad and I did try and start it up. It did crank.
Okay,
with
so
fresh oil.
that's good. That means the pistons aren't rusted stuck or anything.
Oh, we already knew that because my dad pulled the car in gear. If you put it in gear and just start pushing the car and it moves, that means the car is not.
We also
stuck.
know that at least part of the gearbox is fine because we pushed it out.
Yeah, the clutch did start squealing if I completely pushed it in, and we did see that the pressure plate stuff, like not the actual clutch plate itself, but the thing that pushes on it, that does kind of need replacing. So I've been looking at that as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a journey for that thing moves.
It's gonna be an expensive one.
Speaking of which, Brussels.
Yes.
I don't know your availability.
Next week I'm gonna be in London.
Yeah, I know that. I know end of May was out of the question.
Yeah.
So probably or like first weekend of June or third, because of course the second we are busy, or at least I'm busy.
Yeah. Also, I now get as a religious person, I can ask you a good question.
Wait, as a religious, are you religious, Shul?
No, for yes, you being the religious person.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the new pope?
Thoughts on the new pope? Well, the Pope Institute is not great to begin with. It's putting a person in the place of Jesus sort of say. Like you put it in between man, even though Jesus specifically says to not do that. So that's one thing. The other thing, I don't know. I haven't been following.
Well, because at some
I know
point
isn't he calling himself no, it wasn't Louis. What was it?
Leo.
Leo. That
I
was
think he's the 14th already.
yeah, Leo the 14th.
Like,
Also, according to Jim, apparently he has a degree in mathematics.
yes, he does.
So he does not only understand sin, he also understands cosinus.
Yes, he already sent that one to me as well.
Yeah. And I was a 10 bit disappointed.
Yeah, and I'm a 10-bit disappointed as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
The math jokes.
Yeah. So I do have another problem.
What?
The first stop me and my father went to, we went to a very big music store in Germany called Thomann.
Yeah.
So naturally, we went to the drum section and the guitar section.
Yeah.
And now I want to spend money I don't have. This is an issue.
Yeah.
So start saving up, I guess. My father did buy a bass guitar.
Based.
Yes, because he wants to start learning that. He's primarily an electric guitarist, so music people know how that's gonna go.
Only one way to find out.
Well, typically the point of bass is playing restrained, I guess is the word for it. Usually you just go along with eighth or fourth quarter notes and just deep notes, that's it. But he's a guitarist, so that's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be. We did choose a bass that specifically sounded good with that in mind.
So like, if you're not gonna play by the book, this one at least sounds decent.
Yeah, it's like it is definitely still bass, but it has some guitar characteristics, if you will, in the sense that it plays nice in like the higher notes of the bass as well, and midtones, especially midtones. So then you get to make more use of it. It's also not like you have like those rock basses which are loud and heavy, and this is more light and jazzy, if you will. So you can put more notes in without it sounding cluttered.
That is
That
nice.
kind of thing.
Right, when will the starter stop cranking? Because I'm right, it's gonna reach the 2. It's gonna start pumping fluid. And it should be charging the battery as well. At a very slow pace, apparently. But yeah, I woke up at 5:30 today.
Yeah, you get to do that. I have to work.
I woke up at 5:30 to go towards, like, cross country, just to go to a train. But I do have to say
5:30.
5:30 in the morning,
Oh,
because that old train only goes during like morning rush hours.
right. Well, what train was it?
It was that Mad 64 that
Ah, okay.
I went in, but that journey towards there was doable, and sitting in it is comfortable. Like, that ship is comfy. The train.
Yeah.
I'm working on a
that
ship, so I'm getting
do
those
be
confused.
comfy in that.
I got 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, okay, but hey, That's on you, mate. Like,
I
you
know
don't have to do that.
I'm suffering from a fucked up sleeping schedule.
Yeah, and you don't even have to go to work or anything. So,
Not yet.
not yet. Fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you started emailing yet.
I've made a list in my browser.
Uh-huh.
I've moved the list from paper to digital.
Well, it's something.
It is progress, but I still have to actually send out the emails. I'm first going to look at what companies are actually looking for a position that I qualify for. Those I'm
Yeah.
going to send at first because they actually want somebody like me. And then I'm
Honestly,
going to go for the companies just sending.
I would just look at the companies you would want to work at first. Try those first.
I should basically need to make the list like filtered by two things. Like, I want to work here, and do they have an open position? If I
I
can
wouldn't
filter in
even
those two
worry about
criteria,
that. Just start by, do I want to work there?
yeah, and after you make a list of that, and after that you go look for, do they actually have a position? Because otherwise I'm going to be asking for a place they don't have.
Yeah.
And then they'll just turn you down like, oh, you want to work here? Yeah, we don't have space. We don't have the need for the need for somebody else. So
Oh yeah, they were adding that. Oh yeah. Okay. So Mojang added a thing to bartering in the next update, and I kind of already want to prepare for it. You know the gas links.
yeah.
Now in the future, bartering will drop them, so we have farmable mobs.
So we can basically get a dried gas farm.
Yeah, which is not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Lava exists for a reason.
No, we should make an army of goslings. Then tie them all together using leads, because we can do that now. Make a giant air train.
Just
In case you didn't know, you can in the future lead mobs together
yeah,
using leads.
you can wait. You can carpet bomb with creepers.
Technically, yes.
You give them all slow falling. You fly with your happy ghost over with like 10 creepers.
Yeah, you do realize that you have to lead the creeper.
Yes. You do it very quickly and in a weird way.
And you have to lead the creeper first, not the ghast.
You first lead a bunch of creepers and then you put it to happy ghost and then you just
Oh, yeah, but the problem with that is if you were to then drop
low
the one
falling.
creeper that you do like get, can you even lead hostile mobs?
I don't know.
I don't think you can. No, no, because I remember in the Phoenix SC video he had to use commands to do that. So I don't think you can lead hostile mobs.
That's a
And then of
bummer.
course, he leaded a creeper to a cat.
No, wait. I know you can I know you can go around that. And the fall damage. Boat.
Yeah, but then the creeper don't move.
If you connect enough of them, you
Yeah,
don't
but
have to.
yeah, but they will stack on top of each other instead of spreading.
Even if you move.
The thing is, the creeper don't move out of the boat.
No, but like if you are moving and then you release the top one.
Yeah, then they're just all gonna fall straight down.
Yeah, but they are moving, so they're not directly underneath each other. So they kind of form this
Yeah,
chain
but
that
it's
drops
only
down.
minimal. So they'll maybe change like a block
So then you
for
have
a
just this
creeper. Then you have a
cluster
line.
munition.
Yeah. Although once the first creeper blows up, of course the boat will break, but it'll probably explode all the other creepers as well, so that probably won't do much.
Yeah. This is probably what's messing it up. Because I'm reading channel 3, and then I'm outputting channel 3 again. What if I switch that to channel 4?
You created a loop.
What if I put it to channel 4? Wait, have I actually connected it to any of the cylinders? That's...
I guess you did what I usually do.
No, I did a very, very stupid. I did not connect it to the right thing.
No, but what I usually do is accidentally create a clock.
Yeah, but this time I'm taking a composite input from a cylinder from the modular engine. I read that out with a composite read, so I get a number. But I need to put it into an instrument panel, which is a composite thing. So I have to revert it back to composite. So I basically read the third one. Like I basically read channel 3, convert it to a number, then convert that number back to a composite, outputting on channel 3. And then I go from that cylinder to a dial that says it's 20 degrees.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, also, after we set in the old train, we did like the entire route to and from.
Miyake, I presume.
Yes. But the thing is, right, they have benches. Which we need to, like, trains need to revert back to benches anyway. Purely because a bench allows people to sit however they want. Like, because
that sounds like a bench, yeah, that sounds about right.
instead of putting two seats next to each other, a bench, it can also fit more than two people comfortably. Let's say you have two children. They only take the space up of one. If you put them in seats, they often want their own seat. But put them next to each other on a bench and they'll happily sit next to each other. Until one starts annoying the other, then you have a problem.
Yeah, children annoying each other, that otherwise never happens.
Nah, never.
I have a sister, so I would know.
I also have a sister. And I'm the younger one.
Oh, so you're the annoying one.
Yes.
Doesn't deny it.
Oh, no, I'm annoying. But yeah, after you could also stick your head out of the window a little bit. Like, it did prevent it from opening fully, but it's still open enough to put your face through it, through the hole. And if you stick your neck out, then you can also rotate your head a bit. Although at full speed, it's not recommended because then you struggle to breathe.
That does sound like a small issue, yeah.
Turns out your body might not like going, oh, I don't know, 100 kilometers per hour and then trying to breathe in. You know?
I don't understand. That seems perfectly reasonable.
You sure about that?
Well, if I drive 160, then it's fine, so I don't see what the problem is.
Do you get the wind in your face?
Admittedly, that's typically not how driving works.
Yes.
But still.
So then you get my point. As soon as it's a matter of...
No. This makes no sense.
As soon as that's the problem, then you really start running into things like breathing issues and all that stuff. But after doing that, we went to went a little bit more across the country, and then eventually we wanted to see another special train that went to Germany. We didn't get it. We didn't get to see it, but we did go to Germany. So yeah, they have good bread there. Like they have some very good
No,
like bread
no,
snacks.
German bread absolutely sucks.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, but
the bread
no.
snacks, things like they had like this like
You mean like what they put on the bread, or?
yeah this like pistolet, this like a small, basically think a baguette but like small, like
Yeah.
short. They cut it like they almost cut it vertically through the center, filled it with cheese, put a couple more sliced cheese on top, and then some ham. And the cheese
That's
inside was still molten. It was still liquid.
that's indeed certainly a combination of some kind.
It was really good. Like as long as it's not just their normal you eat it every day bread, but more like those snacks, you're fine. The Germans do know how to do that.
Yeah, but regular bread kind of sucks in Germany.
I haven't tried it, but I'm gonna just assume by your reaction
I
that it's shit.
If you imagine anything about bread, then make it more dry and less
Ooh,
tasteful, then you have
ooh,
German bread.
stale bread. I no.
Yes.
Ugh. I have a
It's
habit.
it's like German whipped cream. Do you know the horrors of German whipped cream?
No, and I'm
It's
glad I
whipped
don't.
cream without sugar.
Ugh.
So it's just milky,
Yeah, but
unsweet. Yeah, it's not great.
I have the habit with bread, especially if it's a little bit
I
more
don't mind
stale.
Germans, but come on, your food, the food is not, it's not an upgrade. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
but
way.
like I have the habit with bread, especially if it's a little bit more stale, to chew it dry. I don't know if you've ever tried to keep chewing bread.
It doesn't sound great.
My body gives me a gag reflex instead. Like I have to hold it. I have to actively hold it in and force
Right.
myself to swallow in order to get it down instead of just throwing up, basically. So that's a problem with me and stale bread. So if the Germans only make stale bread, then I'm not eating bread from Germany ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, after returning from the land of the Germans, we basically went through the airport to IKEA because I still needed some teacups and spoons because ours magically disappeared over time.
Have you checked the zolder?
Yes, that's pretty much cleaned up because next week we're getting viewers. Like our house is officially up for
Ah,
sale.
I think.
And as far as I know, it might be more. 18 people are coming over 3 days, with 4 on a reserve list for, in case of people not showing up. Just to see if they want to buy our house. Because it is prime position, it's prime location. You're in the city center, everything's nearby, yet you're not in the busy
Oh,
part
right.
of it.
That don't work. Hold on. Yeah, it's a very good location for a city center.
Hey, everything's close, yet
Like usually living in city centers suck, but
yeah, because it's busy every single day. There's always noise, but not here.
yeah.
But it does also mean that yeah, I do have to clean my room up again. So this weekend is just going to be like emptying the room and spend basically half a week out of the house. And yeah, after Wednesday's the last day, and after that everything can just go back to normal. We've also may have found another spot to live in as well, so that's a good thing. Where do I put refuel?
You guys weren't per se happy with the
Well, we had one,
or
but somebody else came along that had more priority.
oh, okay,
Like
that
my
kind
mom
of
has a medical urgency, like piece like check mark basically. But somebody
yeah.
with domestic violence came along, and that has priority over
Ah,
medical.
that okay, that kind
That
grand scheme of
that's
things,
that
that
seems
seems
fair.
fair enough.
It is really annoying because that means you're like, we were up for it, now we're getting skipped. We're getting skipped.
Yeah, but at least it's not unjustified, if you will.
Yeah, at least it's not just like, oh yeah, we're just skipping you because we think it's funny.
Well, that wouldn't be the case anyway, but you know, it's still a commercial thing, right?
Yeah, it's what's also
It's good.
nasty is that if you are already
It's
renting,
commercial housing, I presume,
hmm, well, we're
or
social housing
oh yeah, okay, yeah, because yeah, okay, that makes
because
sense.
mom doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah, no,
thing
makes
is,
sense.
right? Apparently, if you're already renting, you also get priority. Like, let's say you're already in the
Yeah,
social
okay, yeah. So
housing.
you already have a home. So let's make sure you have a home.
Yeah, let's say you're already in social housing and you have a child, but now you don't have enough space anymore because you already have a child. Now you have a second one and you don't have the bedrooms for it. So you
Yeah,
start
okay,
applying for bigger housing.
that still seems fairly reasonable.
Like we did while we were about to leave, we did see the couple that eventually got the apartment instead of us, and they were it was just a couple with a child, like a baby,
Uh-huh.
and they apparently needed 3 bedrooms.
They needed 3 bedrooms or they wanted 3 bedrooms.
I don't know, but they got 3 bedrooms now.
It feels like a moment of we want to be slightly spoiled.
Well, maybe both of them want to sleep in separate rooms. Like that's something I could imagine being the
Well, if you
case.
live together as a man and woman, I presume you are together. Otherwise, what is the guy doing there?
Sleeping in a separate room.
Yeah, okay, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But they might be wanting another child, and then you do need the second
Well,
bedroom.
yeah, actually, fair point. Well, oh, actually, no. That yeah, if they would want a second, yeah, okay.
If you go for 2 children, you want to put them in separate rooms.
Well, here we go again, going for another one.
But now we basically got in like the same apartment complex or buildings. We basically have another one.
Another one. Another one of what?
Another apartment. And this time where we can even view the like the apartment, we have to actually go through the screening process of, are you eligible for this building or for this apartment? Like, do you earn no money?
Does
That
one
type,
earn no money?
or do you earn so little money that you actually qualify for this type of housing?
Yeah, which is like sub how many?
Not sure, but it is a small amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as that goes through, then that pretty much means that we have a new place, which means it's going to be moving.
Yeah, well,
It's,
so where are you going now? Or maybe show off the stream, I guess.
it is same town, just different area.
Yeah, okay, but I'm still curious.
I will show off the stream. Can I fit this here? Can I fit this hose here? Yes. Should probably add a couple of pumps here. Pump. We want one pump going that way, and we want one pump going the other way. But if we're gonna be moving, then hopefully we're gonna do it during the weekend, so my streams won't be interrupted. Like I'll just keep streaming, and you only notice a difference in scene position, camera angle, background maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, those are things that might be coming in the next month or so.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
Apart from that,
there is pretty much like my room will get bigger from it.
yeah. Yeah, well, I was gonna say, and you don't live in the center anymore, but might not be a benefit considering. I think you'll like it.
Well, also, you want to hear another fun story?
Well, go
That is
ahead.
not fun at all.
Oh.
My mom had to get a new bike
Oh, why?
because the old one got an upgrade, and she had a bike where
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
it had, like, just for the viewers, my mom has a cargo bike and has 3 wheels, but the one she is now going to sell had a lock on it that allowed it to either stay in one position or tilt. But even I couldn't bike with the tilting function enabled. Like, you would kind of just flop over. Like, or if you go through a corner, it's very difficult to get back up or straight again.
That
So
also
not-
kind of defeats the purpose of having a free-wheeled bike. The point is that
But-
you don't have to keep balance, but yeah.
Yeah, but if you can carve through, the name was a carve, and you could carve through the corners. You know, you can kind of make it through. It
Mhm.
gives you more mobility. But
Yeah, if you have the mobility to begin with, I guess.
yeah, but we basically didn't. So Mama's bike got an upgrade. That upgrade being the removal of the lock, because the bike manufacturer had trouble with splitting frames before. If people that have been interested in cargo bikes know which brand I'm talking about, they are not that keen on the entire concept of being customer friendly. They really don't like their customers at all. Because what do? Is my mom calls, and they say, "Oh, well, we'll send you to this division," and then she calls next week and to another division. That keeps happening. Then she got fed up and bought a new bike,
Sounds fair enough.
which is completely understandable because, yeah.
Still though, that kind of sucks that you guys had to get rid of it.
Well, my mom basically got the exact same model. The thing is permanently fixed. So the cargo
Oh,
compartment. Like
so there is no lock. There's just
it's just
fixed straight up.
fixed,
Yeah. Okay.
which is good because that means that there's no longer any risk of it, because that's the reason why they removed the lock. The risk of it suddenly switching from locked to unlocked. Even though it only happened once and mom was going at a very slow speed, meanwhile, one of the tie rods came loose at some point. Just as we were parking up, the left front wheel suddenly aimed inwards when my mom was staring straight. I had to get an M8 lock nut from a hardware store. I had to bike to a hardware store to get it.
Not exactly convenient.
Which is not too bad. It's more wildly inconvenient.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a little inconvenient.
But this bike is completely new, so it should last for, hopefully, like this bike lasted her for 8 years. So let's hope
Yeah,
this one will
hopefully.
also last for around that time.
Well, if it's the same bike, then probably.
Yeah. Also, speaking of bikes, I still need to. After the people have viewed our house, I am going to work on my bike because I need to replace the. I'm gonna kind of steal the wheels from my sister's bike that she is gonna kind of sew or throw away. I'm gonna switch the wheels out because my spokes are steel, hers are aluminium, mine are rusty.
Uh-huh.
Because I have looked far and wide for.
What frame? The frame material.
Well, my frame material is. Like, my sister's frame material is steel and mine is aluminium.
Okay, so there's no upgrade there.
No upgrade to the frame, upgrade to the spokes because I don't like the fact that they are kind of rusty now.
Yeah.
Like, I
Plus,
did.
if you clean them up, then you have less spoke, and if you do that the next time, you have even less spoke, and eventually there is no spoke left.
And eventually, your wheels just
riding on
suddenly.
strings.
Your wheel just collapses.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I did bring it to a shop, which was busy for the next couple of weeks, so I have to go in a couple of weeks again. Because the bearing within my crankshaft is completely fallen apart at this point. It is, let's say, 5mm play each side. Like, you can really just throw it around in there. It is funny. But like the replacement, I thought it was gonna cost me about 200, 150. And he told me like don't get shocked now about how much it's gonna potentially cost, and then he gave me a quote of 60 to 70. And I was like, huh. That is actually pretty good. If I can spend, let's say I spend $70 on getting that bearing replaced, that's pretty good. Then I have to spend another 40 or 50 on new tires, new outer tires, because the ones on my sister's bike are cracking because my sister rarely bikes, and mine need to be replaced anyway, so just get new outer tires. Then I also need to get a new chain, which I think is like 20, so you're spending around 140 on an entirely new bike, basically. And to me, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Fairly cheap for a bike.
That is very cheap for a bike.
depending on the quality of bike, I guess. But
I need to add a knot to this one, I think. Because if this button is on, which it needs to be, like the default state is on, then I don't want the lights to turn on. There we go. But yeah, that's basically my bike. Like the thing is, what my bike has is like I'm unable to find that anywhere unless I'm willing to spend 600 euros on a new bike.
yeah, no, I have the same. I got like a very good second-hand bike, like full aluminium, 8 gears, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of been wearing away, so I'm gonna have to replace the spot border
Oh, those are
chain.
like replacing a bike chain is stupidly easy. All you need is a punch for it.
Yeah, so we don't have a punch. Well, we probably do, but we can't find it.
A chain. We still have a chain punch.
Yeah, well, I'll just order one. They're not expensive. They're like $10.
You can get them at a hardware store for like $8.
I was I was guessing. I don't know how expensive they are.
They are
particularly.
not expensive at all.
Yeah, but I'll just order them with the fenders because I have to do it anyway. I should probably also clean everything. So WD-40, a rag, and then go at it.
If you're, yeah, I mean, I don't know if your chain is locked in a case or if it's open to the
Well, I'm
elements.
replacing the chain because it's although the chain is good, it has lengthened significantly.
Oh, it's
So
stretched.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's stretched. Well, or you can take out a link. That's not necessarily the problem. But the main thing is it's also just incredibly rusty at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. If
That
it's
I have never replaced the chain since I got it, which was I think when I was in like second year high
those
school.
6 years, 7 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. And I've never replaced the chain ever.
So we got our bikes
So
basically at the same time. Like I got mine in the second year of like secondary school. So
yeah.
that's pretty much like my bike is
So
basically 6 years old now.
yeah, yeah. So roughly the same. Yes. So, but at some point I had like this project in mind for you know, the BB gun. Well, what
Yeah.
if you make a chain with a bunch of targets on it that you can flip over, something like that? So I had that idea. I drew like some sketches out, but never got to it. Right. I did make like a prototype version of Kinex, which of course you can't shoot, but
Just a proof of
still.
concept.
So since my father was also always like, yeah, go ahead, but since money was a thing at that point, he was like, yeah, I'll sponsor if you want to do this. I'll sponsor like 50% of the parts, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a chain then and never got around to using it. So I still had a spare chain lying around, so I'll put that on there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I said I will have to buy another chain because mine, I think also stretched. I think that's not how my bearing went.
Yeah, I don't know how good my bearing is. I also
Well,
don't know if it's replaceable since the bike is like out of market for a very long time.
well, if it's just those bearings, I think are like a basic part. They are just sort of this base. It's the same with all bearings, just diameters.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I might look into that as well. I don't know how the housing works and how everything is attached yet, so I'm first gonna have to research that.
But I mean, with the whole bikes, like
But for now, I'll just fix my bike up so that I can use it again because I've been using this folding bike and it's falling apart.
Yeah, just
Like
just
the, the 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 back wheel for the past 6 or 7 months has been on the edge of popping continuously. The outside tire is just in one area just kind of gone.
hello.
So
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
not great.
my bike had the same problem. I did replace it but with the wrong size. I accidentally bought the wrong size, so I still have to get other ones. But like fixing a bike is not that difficult.
No. Well, depends on the. If you have to recenter a wheel, that's fairly annoying and difficult.
That's when you bring it to a shop.
Yeah. Well, I have done it. It's difficult and very tedious. I never like got it good, if you will. I got it close, and then my father did the last bit. Well, oh yeah, remember when we replaced the engine?
Yeah.
That wheel. So I tried to get it aligned. I got fairly close, and then my father did the last bit. Because of course, once we swapped out the motors, the entire wheel was unaligned.
Yeah, you have to realign that, which I think is just a bunch of
Speaking of
moving.
bikes, we went to Austria.
Oh boy.
We traveled 2,500 kilometers with 2 mountain bikes on the back of the bus. You know how much we biked?
None.
None. It was raining when we got there. It was dry before, but once we got there, it started raining.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked.
But I mean, isn't recentering a wheel just a bunch of loosening and then tightening the other side?
It's tightening the spokes, but trying to do so evenly and then adjusting if necessary. Evenly is almost impossible. Adjusting is even worse.
Yeah. That's why I'm not doing that. That's why I'm just gonna replace the outer tire, possibly the inner tire as well, like the tube, because that is just that's a thing
Yeah.
that you possibly have to replace as well. Like just replacing the tube, it should be easy. Like you have those
should be,
tools that are kind
but
of like tiny crowbars. Basically, you put them on, you whip them, you whip the kind of like the bead out. You do that all around, and then you just start forcing it off, and then it's off. Then you put the new one on, struggle a lot, and done.
Yes.
I still don't like that the flow valve has a white arrow that is invisible if the color is white. If your main color is white and the arrow is white, you don't see the arrow. Yeah. I feel like I'm sunburned.
How?
I went
Actually,
outside.
It's
I'm a
it's very
ginger.
sunny. Yeah.
Burn immediately.
Yeah.
Like I almost burn if I think about going into the sun.
That seems a little extreme.
Like, ooh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go into the sun. Already sunburned. Should I put a winch here? I should probably put a winch here. That should solve the problems that I'm having. Actually. Yeah, with entire train stuff, like we were checked almost every single train we went into. It was getting annoying at that point. Like we got checked
You mean
from
in
all the
Germany?
yeah, in Germany we also got checked, but basically every other train we went into, apart from like 3 trains,
Right.
got us checked. Which is really annoying if you ask me, because
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
well, we were in first class and it is
Oh
throughout the
yeah.
week, so we bought a like I still got for my birthday a €2.50 kind of upgrade to first class, but then you have a separate ticket. So every time they come along, I have to grab my phone, show them that, not only show them the thing, like show them, hey, I have this, like this is my card. I'm allowed to sit in. I'm not actually sit in the train, and then I have to show them I'm actually allowed to sit in first class. One of them even asked for our ID.
Yeah,
Because
because probably they don't trust two 20-year-olds, I guess.
they just wanted to.
I
They
don't know.
just wanted to do the names. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, but why they keep checking you guys in first class?
Yeah, a lot of people apparently have something against teens in first class
You're no longer a teenager.
or young adults in
Yeah.
first class. Like as soon as they see one of them, especially elderly people, they will just stare you down.
Wait. Haha, you're old. You're no longer a teenager.
No, like elderly people will stare you down like you don't belong here. They will give you that kind of dirty look, like you're here, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be in
Right.
second class with the rest of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it then becomes even funnier once they realize you have a valid ticket.
Right.
Because then they realize that, oh wait, they because they think you're traveling illegally. That's their entire thing.
Yeah, well, it's fairly likely, considering. Although you could argue that's profiling.
Yeah, they think young people within within the train in first class. Like if you're alone, they're not bothered by it that much. But if you're with let's say with 2 people, then they start getting bothered by it a lot quicker. Because then they start to realize that wait, they are talking to each other, and generally people in those classes are silent. As I said, it's the elderly. And even
What is a
conductors
random Steam key?
don't do
Is it just a
those.
loot box
Yes,
for Steam, I guess?
but it's only
That's
very crappy games that barely function.
Wait, but they already know what game is in it, they say.
Yeah, they
Oh,
know. They
no,
basically.
they don't. They say try to get, which is
Yeah,
not.
yeah, but those things are often organized by just one person.
Yeah, but somebody bought a bunch of these and is selling them for like $7 a piece. So yeah, that's not sketchy at all.
No.
And they say like try to get God of War Ragnarok, even though there's no guarantee of you getting it once you buy it.
Yeah.
Which is not messed up at all.
It is bad. Like, genuinely don't do those.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
We have the flow. This one goes down. So this one goes down.
Yeah,
This one.
yeah, no, that seems very messed up.
Also, I figured something out. Labeling is, in my opinion, almost as holy as the Pope. Because if you don't label anything, you will hit yourself the next day already.
Well, if you just listen to my explanation, then I don't consider the Pope holy. So,
Well, then you don't
know.
consider labels holy.
Well,
Even
no, I
though
wouldn't.
labels are genuinely necessary.
Yeah,
Because if you don't label anything, you will, I said, you will immediately hit yourself in the face. Like, immediately.
like immediately or
No, like maybe a day afterwards. But you will hit yourself in the face thinking, how could I have been so stupid that I now don't know what my things do? Because do you remember what that button did? It is unlabeled. Like, you made it. You were the one supposed to be knowledgeable about it. Like, you are supposed to be the one knowing. And you don't. So now nobody technically knows what's up.
nobody knows what's up, huh? I don't know what games to play, Jules.
Stormworks.
No. So the thing is, I I've always been interested in games where I'm thinking of solutions and everything. But that's my job now, and when I get home, I'm kind of done.
They basically kind of want games where you can just turn your mind off and just...
Yeah, exactly.
Like War Thunder. Well, you technically don't turn your mind off, but you
Yeah, but
change
I
to
don't like shooters that much either. At least not for long.
sim racing.
Yeah, but also no, because it's not really relaxing. Also, I do not. Well, I could get my wheel out of the box, but I don't feel like setting it up right now. I'm thinking more like story games, but I don't know what yet. And the only problem with story games, if I'm talking to you or Jim, is that I cannot concentrate on both.
I will
So
take a look through my Steam library, but if you wait just a second, I'm going to deafen myself real quick.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to deafen myself. Press a button, press another button, press multiple buttons at the same time. Then realize that my camera is still not operational on this window. Because for some reason, if I launch my PC, nothing works. There we go. Hello again. Because, yeah, I'm ending it pretty soon because I'm getting tired. Running on 2.5 hours of sleep is not a smart idea. No, don't do that. Run on more than 3 hours, more than 5 hours, more than 6 hours preferably. Try to get that 8 hours of sleep. It is rather important than just gaming. You will be tired the day after. So yeah, if you like what you saw, maybe you want to see more of this, maybe more of something else. If you have any recommendations, make sure to drop them either in chat, on the Discord, in the comments. Just somewhere visible to me. And, maybe I'll play it. Last week I got the recommendation of War Thunder, so I played War Thunder on Wednesday. Because that's the variety day. No, it's up here. This is the variety day part. The variety content, for which will be next stream on Wednesday anyway, is going to be pretty much either any game I want to play or any game you guys recommend me. But yeah, maybe if you want to have a chat with me or other stuff, just being up to date if things are delayed, moved, rarely cancelled because I try to move my streams around instead of cancelling them. Make sure to join the Discord through !Discord or channels, descriptions, everywhere. Same with YouTube, because this is ending up as a VOD on there. I do record this and upload it. Still have to upload the last one. Whoops. Forgot to do that. Will do. I will upload them and then upload them tonight and tomorrow. If they're done, we'll schedule the second one. And yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I wish everybody a very happy afternoon, evening, night, morning, whatever. And with all that said, I'm gonna be tired for a couple more bits and then sleep. And goodbye.